Yeah, so this is finally moving. It only took us 2 months, right? Ever since we've been calling these DXY cells and up here, since up here, right? I truly believe that that is the bottoming out, just because yes, we have an impulsive reaction, right? And we've spoken on this before, but we have an impulsive reaction, but the reaction is almost just as fast. So that shows me that there's a reason to why price came up here and came right back. That gives me an indication that something happened. So I'm gonna play based off of that assumption. And as soon as that happened, right, there were two possibilities, right? When we come back to pretty much price here, there's two possibilities. Or three. Right? Price can immediately just shut down and die. Right? Or if we start recovering, there's 2 points of interest to me. There's the inefficiency fill, and then there's this wick here, because there's potentially an SC there, right? And yes, there's potentially an SC up here, but that's too high. If we jump all the way back up here, we'll probably just see a bounce and continuation. So when I was playing this, I'm like, there's 2 points of interest, and it's either going to be the inefficiency fill or this SC here, because this is relatively like 70 something percent. No, that's probably like a low 80% retracement. So it's not too deep. It's still realistic. So luckily from there, we got the reaction from the inefficiency fill. And this is a great assumption, because now we know that if this high is fully taken out, this high is going to be taken out, right? And that is if a strong closure closes above that, right? And I know that if that happens, I'm booking these positions. Fuck that. Like, not only am I waiting a very long time for this, right? It's for it to have to break me even. Yeah, even though I'm not taking a loss on the trade itself, I'm taking a loss by the time that I wasted. So I'm trying to be efficient with it. So as soon as that happens, right, I want to see if price wants to take out that low, right? But we came back, tested highs, but we didn't break highs, and that's the good thing, right? We didn't break highs. And then now this was the next POI, so I want to see if this substantially breaks structure here, or breaks immediate structure but not full structure. So that rejected, even bounced off of SC right there, right? And now is when we're seeing exhaustion, because this is a new solidified high, this is a solidified high, this is a solidified high. And what do you see? You see high, you see lower high, and potential BOS right here. So I'm going to play either 50% here or the inefficiency fill there to assume that structure will continue lower. And guess what? We rejected that 50%. As we've said multiple times, we break pretty much full structure there. And from there, we pretty much melted. Right? So I had no reason to close these positions until the solidified high happened. And if that solidified high is impulsively taken out. Right? But obviously that never happened. So thanks to that, we're playing this the correct way, the smart way, and we're holding until we have a reason to not hold. Pretty much that's pretty much how you play swings, how you play positions. If, for example, if you caught a monthly impulse and you don't want to wait for that correction, take out the trade. Like, you're fine, because you probably already got a multiple hundred trade, a multiple hundred pip trade. So it's like, you got to play it smart. And now we're actually, right, pretty much in a key area in price. Right, we have inefficiency fill there, we have wicks here, so there's potentially SC there, and then we even have the 50% here. So what I want to see is, I want to see this fully bottom out and give us some type of correction. Right, I don't know if the correction itself will reach up here. Right, honestly, if we pretty much bottom out here where we are now, I'll see this easily happening. But if we continue lower, right, this high of a retracement might not be possible, because it might just play off a previous low and then just continue lower. So I want to see this start giving us any type of pullback to add on to position long term. And that obviously goes to EU as well. Yo, why the fuck is my name Antonio? What the hell? Hold on, let me fix that because that's bothering me. I'm like, who the hell is talking? That's Antonio. Who the hell is that? Why is my name Antonio? That's funny. But I mean, the same thing goes for EU, as we can see, except this isn't as clean. Like, for example, the only thing that you can probably play off is any SC inside here. And I went through the time frames. I didn't see anything like fully appealing besides, I believe it was this year. That was appealing there, right? 10-hour inefficiency, waiting to see what price does once it comes here. So it's in a weird spot because I want to see if EU, from a 4-hour perspective, I want to see if this inefficiency fill holds. I want to see if that holds. Maybe takes out Friday's high during either Tuesday, Monday. We get a rejection and then we start seeing a pullback because there is a very clear instance of inefficient pricing there. And if we can get back here, this would be touching previous structure as well. Right? Touching previous structure to an extent. And then we can get a continuation. It's possible, but I would personally prefer it to not happen, just because I want to see this just straight continue until we take out that 1.04 1.15 point. I want to see that be taken out because that's my long-term target, one of my long-term targets for this initial position. Right, like I've said before, since we're pretty much changing direction like fully now, this initial trade has two main targets, right? And these I've noted countless times, which is 1.15 and then I think it was 1.19, yeah, like 1.185 ish, yeah. So those are my two long-term targets. And then if we reach up there, I want to see how we react from this price point. But obviously this will be for the next couple months. Like, this isn't gonna happen anytime soon. So for now, our job is to pretty much just hopefully get a decent retracement. Get a decent retracement. Go up and take out this high. That is my first goal. From there, we'll decide what's going to happen and see how price action is. I want to see if Q2 ends before that happens or after that happens. That's going to be a good thing to know. Obviously, this month's closure is going to be important. And we actually get the 6-month closure too because we're halfway through the year. So that's going to be interesting. But I just want to see what happens until then. Let me see. Did everybody see those markups I sent out yesterday? Did anybody see those? Yeah, so the point of those markups was pretty much to show you like what I would do beforehand. For example, look, this is the initial price range. For one, we know we're bullish until 1.15 and then 1.19. So in terms of swing, I don't want to sell, I don't want a long-term sell position. So what I saw right before New York opened was like, yo, we just had a run up with insufficient volume and we had a schematic at that high. Not only that, we got a violent reaction to the downside. Let me see. We got a pretty violent a very violent move to the downside that actually took out a previous low. So that's very pretty much worrying, If we were to take out this low here, let me see if I can annotate this. All right, so if we were to take out this low here, then that's full on sales for me from an intraday point, not from a swing point. But we weren't there yet. We were here and we had bounced from here. So I know that there is a distribution in play and we just broke a previous low. So that creates a narrative for selling bias. and I don't want that. Fuck that. Like I'm not trying to do that. Like that's not the trade that I'm looking for. So I'm just like I'm gonna chill and I want to see what happens during London. I mean during New York. Right, and even from there, like it was pretty much an untradeable range, unless you caught the initial first NFP drop. So it was I don't know, it was a sloppy day. So it's just not for me. It wasn't tradable. It was, but it wasn't to par with me with what I want. Yes, you could have potentially gotten SC up here, played that, and then aim for this low. I know that this low got taken out, so that would have been a good intraday play there. But I don't know. It's not worth my time. That's probably what like a unless you get a 2 pip stop. That's a 30 pip move. So, but if you get like a 45, that's only a 6-1. So it's not to mention it's Friday. Not to mention we shouldn't be selling a very bullish market. So it's like you could have, but it's like I'd prefer not to. I'd rather be more conservative than that. Yeah, that distro is what pretty much invalidated any bullish bias for Friday morning for me. Because as you can see, it even tried the rally during overlap hours, but it couldn't because we're playing based off the narrative of the distribution and the BOS. But even though we broke BOS here, it's like we still have here to pay attention to, and we still have anywhere in here to pay attention to, which is why I said I want to see what happens at that inefficiency fill there. How'd you find that TSI indicator? What's his if somebody found that in the group, let me see. I believe it was Paul that found it. It's TSI. What's it called? You can use TSI, you can use time zone. Either one is good. I prefer TSI because it's an actual indicator. Time zone was actually, I think, created by somebody. Where is it? It was this right here. Yeah, see that? And then you just gotta change up the settings. Since we're recording, I can show you guys my settings. These are the settings for overlap. How'd you? Oh yeah, never mind. But yeah, somebody named Paul in the group found it. But yeah, I mean, that was my rant for today. Still bullish on this. Been bullish on this for what 3 months now, right? Been bullish on this, and we're finally seeing, some type of optimism, because like this right here, here's people are fucking this up. People think this is accumulation. It's not. If anything, it's a reaccumulation, because the narrative initiated. Hold on, let me see. I'd have to go through the markups, but who remembers that there's actually an accumulation schematic here? Who remembers that? Like I'm positive I showed that markup. Yeah, I'll talk about that after. But who remembers the markups here? Like this is an actual schematic here. So based off logic, how in the world is this accumulation? It doesn't make sense. Well, if anything, this is a reaccumulation, right? The accumulation has already occurred. We're currently marking up, even though it was drawn out over 2-3 months or 2 months, I think. This is a reaccumulation schematic. So all we're doing now is catching the move to the upside with the target here, right? Like this literally the same example. Let me show you a very similar example. Right? The accumulation has already occurred. The reaction was given. All this was reaccumulation to give another move to the upside. Same thing here. Even looking at it from the entire bigger picture, accumulation has occurred. We get a reaction. All we're doing is essentially marking up And the catalyst will be whether or not we break this high here. If we break this high here, then that's a straight up, this is gonna moon. Like, we'll even take out this high here. And we're already looking at positions from here. So it's not about us catching that entire move. It's about us knowing that price will eventually reach there, meaning we have a bias to play off of to get multiple swings to the upside. And this will take years. This might even take, hold on, what was this? It might take 4 to 5 years. Like, look, a decade ago from today, we were here. We were here a decade ago. So who's to say for the next decade we don't buy EU and make ridiculous funds off of it? You know? So it's not about catching the whole move. It's about knowing where price is going to go. Why is what not? Why is this not accumulation? Why is it reaccumulation? Is that what you're trying to say? It's well, like, let me just simplify it one last time. Right? I said this in the videos. I'm pretty sure I said it in the videos. It's distribution occurs at the top of a range. Accumulation occurs at the bottom of a range. Because due to logic, it's supply to demand, demand to supply. Right? I don't like calling it that. But this isn't this entire thing here. This is not the bottom of the range. This is the bottom of the range. So after we reach here, to be honest, pretty much all of my positions are going to be closed because the reaccumulation has already happened. Now this is just the marking up and aiming for this target. And the sad thing is that we could see a distribution here and then correct ourselves for like 2 to 3 months. So it's like, why would I hold these positions and eat swap, you know? Because I don't have these positions on Wildcats. Wildcats doesn't have swap, but I don't have these positions on that broker. Because now, what if we get that distribution, right? We take out this high, and from there, the distribution occurs, and we finally come back to fill this inefficiency. And then from here is where we look for another position, and then we take it to the moon. You know, so I'm playing based off the narrative that this is reaccumulation, aiming to take out this previous high. So I'm going to take price to that high. So obviously I have a reason to close. Like, obviously if we break this here, then it's very concerning because now it looks like there's something here and this is bouncing off of that. So I would prefer to see 1.15 taken out before we see a correction occur. But like I said, that's what I want. That's not necessarily what's going to happen. So like I said, I want to see how that pretty much bounces here, inefficiency fill, and then see if we take out this low or we continue higher. All right, does that make sense? Like, does that make, it's not really the biggest deal, but it's those little details that can be very, very controversial. For example, if we're considering this, like let's consider this accumulation, right? Just based off of cycle alone. If this is accumulation, this is the initial run up to take out that high. What if you confuse the distribution with reaccumulation? You now aim to buy higher, but price comes lower. And then that's eating a loss because you weren't open to this accumulation that potentially happened here. I don't remember exactly when I posted those markups. 22nd of March. Maybe I could find them. March 22nd. Let's see. '20th of March. No, we weren't even launched yet. No, there's no way I'm finding that. We weren't even launched yet. There's no way I'm finding those. Didn't you post it on IG? I don't think I posted this one. I think I posted this one. I definitely posted this one. But I didn't post this one because I'm waiting to post this one once we take out this high. Because this accumulation is meant to take out this high. That is the target. So I'm not going to be satisfied until we get that. And if we don't get it, then oh well, you know? which is why these entries here were played to take out this high as a swing bias, not a position bias. This is more so a position bias. So yeah, hopefully I'm not confusing y'all, saying too much shit. But yeah, do you guys have any questions? I have a, let me see who's in here. I've been seeing a lot of you guys working hard, low key. I prefer that, to be honest. I prefer that. Working at your own pace, enjoying the process. Either way, though, it's cool. You don't, you aren't meant to, you don't have to, talk in a group chat. You don't have to do anything. You can only, like, there's guys that only talk to me, and that's cool. Like, all we do is talk in DMs, and that's fine. Just because I don't want you guys getting too distracted and getting too off topic with all that. This one's finally moving. Hopefully we can get a touch of structure, buy more, take it to the moon. But this is like if this works out, this is the perfect schematic. It's gonna take weeks to months to even complete, but fuck it, like this is a great investment to me, especially if it works out, because I'm already in. I'm in from here, here, and here. I think I even bought some here. But yeah, I mean, everything's good. Do you guys need anything, or are we cool? Are we good, guys? Yeah, guys, no problem. Let me go ahead and stop recording.